history, the historical sense of change and transformation, I think is really important. So, try, if you like, not to forget that. That's why context is often important. Do you want to just connect us with yourself?
I think the things that I have been doing had come out of the things that I was doing in my job that I was really uncomfortable with doing. And the reason that I was uncomfortable with doing them was because they weren't alongside, and they weren't what I consider to be working in partnership with our nurseries. And we talk all the time about how important working in partnership is, and we expect them to work in partnership with our parents. But then we send them a letter saying, oh, we're going to come and do this, we're going to come and do this audit in your setting, and they don't have a choice, and they don't have a choice about the date, they don't have a choice about the content, we're just going to come and do it. And I felt very uncomfortable with that. I still have to do it, it's part of my job. But because I felt very uncomfortable with it, I wanted to do something that was different. So in a sense it was an alternative, something different, but not an alternative to achieve the same thing, because actually its purpose was in a sense different. I wanted to do something that used an alongside approach, that was really working with the practitioners in the setting that they wanted to do, so that it wasn't they were imposed on it, but that really used the learning scales of wellbeing and involvement to support their thinking about their children. So it begins with actually observing their children, and that might sound very obvious to a lot of people, but actually for some practitioners, particularly some who've come through recent training routes, actually they don't have that experience, and they don't have that knowledge of actually just looking at their children and seeing what their children are doing and seeing how the children are. And that's the first part, is the observing, but then the next part is for us to actually come alongside them and talk with them about what they've noticed about their children. Because again, what happens sometimes is they do observations of their children, they do things because the EYFS says they have to, but actually they do it, they file it. They do it, they file it. And that's it. It's sort of what they've written doesn't really pass through their thinking at all in some cases. And I'm talking about some cases, not sort of all. So the next part of the process is that conversation with them, which is usually in the form of a staff meeting, about what did you notice about your children? And then thinking about, well, why is this then? Why do you think this is happening? Why do you think the involvement scores are very low in that area? And then thinking about, well, what might you do about that? And that's, for me, I've seen a real shift in thinking from some settings where previously they would have put barriers, and they would have said things like, well, I can't do that, or oh, that's too difficult, or I can't do that, and because this, and this. And they've shifted from, I can't do that, to, oh, how am I going to do that? And that's a real move in thinking for them. And from that, then we agree a plan with them of what they're going to do next.
If I was wanting to start a piece of writing, I'd have had a voice recorder going, I'd have transcribed that, and that would be recorded it.
Because you know it all, so you don't need to, because it's in there.
You've described it.
Did you hear it as you were saying it?
No.
Well, it's on camera.
Yeah. You just need a transcript of that.
But the next stage for each of you, and it takes, don't have to do something until I think it's finished. If you would actually just write what it is that you've said tonight, actually trust that process, keep going, go through that, but not saying what am I going to be doing, but looking back. And each of you have done that. You're at the point where you are, and it's a moment of reflection. And in communicating with other people as to what it is that you've been thinking, allow you to see that in a different way. But if you don't trust, if you like, this group, and actually start to share at that early stage, then you're going to be missing something that could be really, really useful to you. But if you don't share, then you ain't going to move forward in that sort of way. Well, you've been through this a number of times, and I think it really is very, very unnerving to share at a stage where usually you're thinking,